Jesus said to his disciples, "There was a rich man, and he had a steward denounced to him for being wasteful with his property. He called for the man and said, 'What's this I hear about you? Draw me up an account of your stewardship, because you are not to be my steward any longer.' Then the steward said to himself, 'Now that my master is taking the stewardship from me, what am I to do? Dig? I'm not strong enough. Go begging? I should be too ashamed. Oh, I know what I'll do to make sure that when I'm dismissed from office, there'll be some to welcome me into their homes.' Then he called his master's debtors one by one. To the first he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' 100 measures of oil,' was the reply. The steward said, 'Here, take your bond, sit down straight away and write 50. To another he said, 'And you, sir, how much do you owe?' 100 measures of wheat,' was the reply. The steward said, 'Here, take your bond and write 80. The master praised the dishonest steward for his astuteness. For the children of this world are more astute in dealing with their own kind than are the children of light. And so I tell you this: use money, tainted as it is, to win you friends, and thus make sure that when it fails you, they will welcome you into the tents of eternity. The man who can be trusted in little things can be trusted in great. The man who is dishonest in little things will be dishonest in great. If you then can be trusted with money, that tainted thing, who will trust you with genuine riches? And if you cannot be trusted with what is not yours, who will give you what is your very own? No servant can be the slave of two masters. He will either hate the first and love the second, or treat the first with respect and the second with scorn. You cannot be the slave both of God and of money. There's a lot in that parable that makes me uncomfortable. There's lots of ideas and images that just challenge some of my expectations of Jesus and his teaching. That's not always a bad thing. Lines like, the master praised the dishonest steward. I know the master's praising the steward for his astuteness in the ways of the world, but it does sound a little bit like he's praising the steward for his dishonesty, and that just doesn't feel right. And then, even in the explanation that Jesus gives, there's the line, use money, that tainted thing, to win friends. It sounds like trading off wealth for popularity. But isn't a desire, a need to be popular, just as dangerous as a desire, a need for wealth and riches? Isn't a need to be liked just as likely to lead us away from the kingdom as our attachment to money? No, there are things that I'm not sure about. Once I was told that if a symbol needs to be explained, then it's not an effective symbol. I wonder if there's a similar saying about parables. If they need to be explained, then they don't put their point across particularly clearly. Symbols, signs are all around us. Take road signs, for example. They're intended to give information to road users quickly and efficiently, not to distract us from the roads that we're using. And they're designed to do that. Even the shape tells you something. If it's a red circle, then it gives you an instruction that should be followed, like a speed limit or a no entry sign. But if it's a red triangle, It warns you of a potential hazard coming up, like low-flying planes, or low-flying steam engines, or people trying to open umbrellas. Even if you don't understand exactly what the symbol in the middle of the sign is, you get an idea of what it's saying by the shape. A red triangle means there's a need for caution. I wonder if parables can be looked at in a similar way, that the shape of the parable gives us some idea what they're about. If that was true, I think today's parable would definitely be a red triangle sort of parable. Caution, proceed with caution. Use money with caution. Acquire wealth with caution. If you were going to understand road signs perfectly, you'd probably need to refresh your memory of the highway code. Go back and read it, because some of the signs are less obvious than others. And the same is probably true of the parable. If we really are to understand it, we need to go back and look at the gospel equivalent of the highway code, which isn't just the gospel. We need to know something about the relationship between a master and a steward, what the role of the steward was. Maybe we need to know something about the relationship between this particular master and this particular steward. We need to understand something of the role of a steward and how it is that the steward is able to change the amount owed, or at least how much the debtors of the master return to him. But even without all that detail, maybe the shape gives us a clue. And sometimes, even road signs need a word of explanation. And this parable is no different. Jesus explains what he's saying. Use money, that tainted thing, to win friends, so that when money fails you, there will be some who will welcome you into the kingdom. Use money with caution. Use money, use wealth, use possessions for the good of all, not just for the good of self.